What's up guys, Blake here from GuideToVaping.com, and today I'm not going to be doing a review. Instead, I'm going to actually talk about something that I'm pretty interested in. And when I say I'm interested in it, that means I'm actually pissed off enough where I'm actually going to talk about it.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
So as you know, the electronic cigarette industry has been under fire for years, and it continues to get bombarded by media headlines. The media looks down on those who vape, and they ultimately try to paint a bad picture of us. Now don't get me wrong, I love vaping, I'm super passionate about it, and I've been doing it for quite a while now. But there are many things about vaping in general that I'm absolutely disgusted with. I hate that the proposed FDA regulations could cripple our industry. I hate that there are some illegal companies out there stealing the brands that others have worked so hard to create. I hate that we as vapors feel so united, yet the vaping community is so divided. And I really hate that there are immature fuckhead ass trolls still on the internet, yet they're old enough to purchase an electronic cigarette. But what I hate most of all is that there are headlines being created out there right now to destroy an industry that literally saves lives. Now, I don't know what the fuck you've heard. I don't know where the fuck you've heard it from, and I really don't give a shit. Whoever told you we're trying to look cool or we look like dumbasses because we vape, tell them to tell that to their mother, their brother, their uncle, their grandparents, whoever. Because believe me, there's a high possibility that somebody in your family tree has passed away from cancer, which was the result of tobacco cigarettes. Now, the media's headlines want you to see vaping in a bad aspect. They want to make sure that you're seeing the worst of the worst. And what's so crazy is that most of you that see these headlines, you literally go by the headline itself and you probably don't even click on the actual link. And now that you haven't clicked that link to read the full story or even to track it back to the original source, you now think vaping is fucking horrible. Now you got vaping is bad in your mind. You happen to be talking to some of your friends and they start talking about electronic cigarettes and you're like, yeah man, that shit's bad. I heard that it blew somebody up the other day. And now that you told that person is going to go to say the same shit, except they're going to add a little bit of a twist to it. So as you see, these headlines can be very, very damaging, especially to an industry that is so new. But what really sucks for those that are actually passionate about it, for those that it's actually helping, they're destroying an industry that has saved our lives. By using this right here, I've been tobacco free for almost 6 years. And what's crazy is you think it's the worst thing ever just because you read a headline on Facebook. Now, one of the things that this industry suffers from is a headline that continues to pop up. And one thing I'm talking about is e-cig explosions, e-cig fires. You know, you've probably seen them. Since they continue to pop up, this is what you remember.
Tonight, a warning about those popular e-cigarettes. A local man says
a Collier County woman says an e-cigarette exploded in her face. Then, look at this, it set the car that she was in.
People say it's a safer alternative to cigarettes, right?
But not for one local teen in
Right.
particular who did suffer some serious burns after the electronic device.
Reports of explosions like these have been popping up across the country for about the past year. Doctors at Harborview here in Seattle have seen 5 different patients in the past 5 months.
Exploded in southwest Florida, causing second and third degree
e-cigarettes. The
burns.
Lyndhurst Fire Department has a warning for you. They responded to call at a plastic surgeon's office where an e-cig blew up in an employee's
seriously
pocket.
burned after he says a spare e-cig battery exploded in his pants pocket.
Yeah, pretty crazy, huh? But by just reading the headlines, this is what media wants you to think. Like I said, they want you to think the worst of the worst. But the crazy thing is electronic cigarettes were invented to actually help. Yes, electronic cigarettes or vaping might have some flaws, but they're not killing people like tobacco cigarettes has done for years. Now, the reason why electronic cigarettes has been under fire for so many years now is because it's new. Even though you don't want to admit it, people are scared of change. Now, let me give you an example. Remember when hoverboards came out? Remember when they were the hot item? Almost every other day, there was a new headline coming out about the batteries in the hoverboards. The hoverboards are going to catch on fire. They're going to burn your house down. But now that they aren't the new thing and people have actually moved past them, do you see headlines focusing on the hoverboard? No, they're not. But since batteries are such a scare for electronic cigarettes, and since they're being banned from planes, banned from certain areas, all because they're going to explode, let me show you what else will explode.
You don't sleep with your cell phone, right? Well, this is a reminder to never sleep with it under your pillow. The NYPD sharing these pictures of a burned up pillow with a hole and the remains of a charred Samsung
Fox
cell
investigators
phone.
say a laptop computer is to blame for a mobile home fire in Smyrna. Firefighters say this case should serve as a warning to all of us about what can happen if we leave any electronic devices charging
Jeff and
when we're
Kelly,
not at
the cell
home.
phone owner says he felt a burning in his pocket. The next thing he knows, there was smoke and flames and then an explosion.
That's right, your cell phones and laptops could catch on fire. Pretty crazy, right? They'll tell you about an e-cig that explodes, but they won't tell you about little Johnny's house that just caught on fire from a laptop. And those of you that are beloved iPhone fans, you're not in the safe zone either.
This morning, these images of Anna Crail's charred cell phone show the terrifying aftermath of a mid-flight fire scare. The 19-year-old college sophomore on her way to Honolulu for spring break says she was watching a movie on her Apple iPhone 6 when it burst into flames 8 inches high.
So as you see, guys, all of these devices have batteries. And when you leave your laptop in your hot car, your cell phone, or your electronic cigarette, they're going to explode. Now, I'm not saying that this is everybody's fault, but I am saying that there are people out there that don't know how to use these devices. You have to understand that these batteries in these devices can malfunction. It don't matter if it's your laptop, your cell phone, or your electronic cigarette. And many times the culprit is not knowing how to care for your device or the batteries themselves.
Damon Scarfo has been vaping for a year and a half, and he's never had a problem until a spare e-cig battery exploded in his pants pocket.
It just exploded. They cut the bottom part right here.
The pants leg was cut away by paramedics. Scarfo says the explosion put a big hole in the fabric.
You can see here where the burn is, where it actually exploded out. All of this area right here.
A word of caution, photos of his injuries are graphic. Scarfo says he got second-degree burns on the upper part of his left leg.
I mean, when it happened, I was like, oh my God.
His right leg was also burned. He says his jeans caught fire and part of the material stuck to his leg. It happened as he was at the counter of a convenience store. He says he had put change in his pocket a few minutes earlier, and a coin probably made contact with the battery.
Because I'm assuming, you know, where the burn marks are, that it arced between this one and here and got the actual spark that made this thing blow up. I can promise you one thing now. I don't carry batteries unless they're in this puppy, you know, and this needs to be in every store that's a vape store.
Scarfo says when he went back to where he bought the battery, another customer gave him a plastic case, and he'll use it from now on and continue using his e-cig.
Now I think I've said and shown you everything that I think I need to. Guys, please don't get twisted from these headlines. Understand that vaping is not the devil here. Electronic cigarettes were invented strictly to help save lives. Thanks for watching the video, guys. If you liked it, leave a thumbs up, and if you want to see more like it in the future, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. As always, guys, vape on.